Supremely Black Podcast. This is your boy D Rose. I appreciate you all for tapping in. We'll jump right into it. We've seen how the whole world's been covering what's going on with young Dolph out of the city of Memphis. Man, that's actually by way of where I'm from. Not directly from Memphis, about an hour away. So very close and very near to Memphis. You know, shout out and major salute to the legacy that he did leave back. Major shout out to his wife and his kids. But it's sad that Memphis is now actually getting a shine that, you know, being from West Tennessee, I've always been able to see the city being, you know, shining and growing and doing what it has to do, but it's always had a terrible history of one, segregation, and two, you know, everybody's seen first 48. A lot of people started to see Memphis, or you probably seen Hustle and Flow. It doesn't matter of how you were introduced to it, but just being a part of the Mid-South and growing up in the area, man, this is going to have a huge impact on the city and the state as well as always have. Unless you're in like the Nashville area, Memphis, if you're from West Tennessee, had a big impact on how you were brought up, from their style, their slang, their lingo, etc. For better or for worse, it's always had a huge impact. And the reason why I brought up the segregation part is because what I've noticed is a lot of people, definitely on YouTube, they were saying, what was he doing back in Memphis? He must stay in Memphis, or rappers need to quit going to the hood. The sad part about it is that he should be able to go to his hood and relax and chill. But when you are involved with the rap game, it tends to have a different hold on you, because the same people that should love you have the biggest envy. And basically, if you rap about a certain lifestyle, then you're usually faced with that ultimate demise, and sometimes, and more than likely now, it's leading to people being killed. But he was close to his hood. But one of the things is that a lot of people don't realize that are covering the story. Memphis isn't that big, and I've always told people is that, like, when you really like that and you really live in that street life, they can talk shit about, you know, our country niggas, y'all ain't really around people, but that's the biggest issue, is that we can't go to the big city. You on the north side of Southern California, or from the east side, and like you all are an hour and a half away, maybe 2 hours away. I could use Houston for an example. It may take me 45 minutes to an hour to get to the north side of Houston if I'm on the south side. Like, that makes the city bigger. Not saying that the murder rate still wouldn't be high, but when you think about a small segregated city like Memphis, there isn't a lot of places that you can hide that wouldn't put you in harm's way. All they need to know is really that you're in the city and you're going to be found in about 10 to 15 minutes. That's the difference. And it's always been like that. Memphis has been known for either one, segregation, or, you know, now the rap scene has been jumping. I mean, you know, a lot of people debate and say that the A took their style, right? But the fucked up part about it in this particular situation is that rappers are now having to die in our city, in that city, not our, but having to die in Memphis for them to get the recognition, and getting a lot of that love could keep a lot of these people from having to be targets of their own, the hate that they're going to have in their city regardless, right? But that would have pushed them out a little quicker, to maybe help them realize that some cities you just can't come back to and give back to, because if you're active in real street beef, and I won't even mention the names of what's going on with those, with that crew. I'm not here to do police work. It's just really to show that, you know, being from Tennessee, growing up maybe an hour, a little bit over an hour away from that area, being Memphis, it's sad, man. It really is. Is that I don't feel bad for the participants in regards to the things that go on, especially when you live in the street life. I feel bad for the opportunities that are not going to be provided now from the kids that are going to be impacted, especially with me, you know, working with the youth. This sets us back even further, because these young kids are impressionable. I think, you know, I seen a video that had shown them going into the area where young Dolph was killed at, and it's a kid talking about how much of an impact he has. That little kid has to grow up, and hopefully he doesn't choose a side, to stand firm, to get his rank up when he's coming up, right? But when you think about just the segregation that's always happened to the city. It's always had a plague. Martin Luther King was killed there. It's the Mid-South. Like, it's always been that way. It's no different from, you think about your Chicago's, your Detroit's. It's just a smaller amount of people doing the same thing that other major cities are doing. But it takes for a big piece of a puzzle, which is a big rapper getting killed pretty much at his peak, for the city to start to get attention, and you've seen it everywhere all over the internet. It's an unfortunate case, but when you think about that, man, that's what comes with, living in the hood. But it's not really a nice part of Memphis. I know a lot of people are like, well, what's really going on? If you're not in like Collierville, Germantown, Lakeland, out East Memphis used to be pretty decent, but even Raleigh is turned up now. The whole city turned, and this is only going to make it worse, because the people that have chosen sides of, I'm representing these three letters, or I'm representing these three letters, and the ones that understand know exactly what I'm heading to with that. We just get into a bigger issue of this right here. Willie Lynch letter. The game was set up and created for us to hate each other, kill each other. Light-skinned nigga, black-ass nigga like myself. You feel me? Like, it's a lot of different things that just played into a part. And now that Memphis has a voice outside of First 48, and now it took for, again, Dolph to get killed for us to realize that this is a bigger issue. And like, shout out to my boy, he always talks about it over at the Big Facts Podcast, Ayo Nation. It's the rap trap, man. And it pushes people back and it pushes people away. But Memphis has a lot of beautiful art, has a lot of beautiful history. It was one of the most thriving black communities after segregation, before we even did segregation. Memphis in the Mid-South was a very known, popular city that had very affluent, well neighborhoods. You feel what I'm saying? Like Orange Mound. People hear about that now. You think about the violence that plagues it now, but that was one of the most thriving cities that was going on. So Memphis has always had gems, from the barbecue. It's a lot of different things that make Memphis, Memphis. But I hate that these particular things have to happen for people to start to highlight a city to find out what's really going on. Because if it wasn't for this instance, it probably would have still been getting looked over. But now, you have a city that has to mourn the loss of a very influential person that was only in the city to do his annual turkey giveaway. And as you've seen the video that circulated, he went back to the same place and got the cookies from that place from a young girl. The only reason why that business is there is because it was created from a young lady that had died from cancer. And she's been having a hard time actually trying to stay open due to 19. So for an influential person to get killed there, and then to also have that business owner suffer something like this dramatic happening in their place, almost on the verge of losing everything anyways, just replace the windows because it's been a lot of crime in that area. The area that it occurred in is very burnt up, and by burnt up meaning from a street terminology, that ain't where you want to be. It's a lot go on in that area, so it's dangerous. That's the hood. It's really the trenches, and a lot of people have been killed, or a lot of it's very crime driven in that area. So it's sad, man. It fucked everything up with what was going on, because you're not gonna always see eye to eye. But again, as I mentioned, they always mention the Willie Lynch. But it's going to have to be at some point to where we're going to have to just realize that in order for us to truthfully get to what our goal is, some of this shit going to have to get cleaned up, and some of it's going to have to stop. And a part of growing older and growing wiser and being in that space is that you got to call it out sometimes. And by that meaning, if you know for a fact that ain't the lifestyle that you want to live, just change your path with it. You feel me? And to the kids that this will get to, because I know for a fact that was some of the Supremely Black family reached out to me and told me they had played my video in front of some kids. So to the kids that and the youth that are listening, I hate that this has to be your example. I don't want to tell you that you gotta move out of your city and never look back. But if you continue to see the same examples, there's nothing wrong with giving and being business minded to realize that you have your impact, but staying low and staying out the way and keeping it business instead of personal will get you a lot further than wanting to feel that hood love that we all love, but know that how dangerous it can be. And it's bad now. It used to be just because you were in the streets, you were a target. Now it's being in those neighborhoods where crime could happen, since there isn't any more structure and everybody's just wilding the fuck out right now because half of the OGs either locked up or dead, and these new cats are just so attention deprived or seeking. They just doing whatever to say that they caught a body or got to shoot at somebody. They don't give a damn if they send themselves to jail, you know. But to the youth that could be listening to this, man, if you can, get you a copy of this book. Get you and read the Willie Lynch letter and the making of a slave. And the reason why I connected those two from what's going on, what's been going on in the Mid-South, especially in Memphis, and giving you all that history, but connected to what's going on now when you think about every major city that is plagued with gun violence. Make sure you comment, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe to the channel and share with other like minds. This is your boy D Rose again, and I'm out. Salute.